Welcome, Queer Kittens and new earballs. I'm V, a two-spirit human, joy influencer, energy worker, and dad joke connoisseur. All pronouns accepted. This podcast started because we just want cutie BIPOC to be well, to feel seen, and to be heard. So let this be your queer compass guiding you towards radical acceptance. And wherever you are in your wellness journey, just know you're not alone. We hope this podcast brings you joy where you'll learn, laugh, heal, and grow. This episode is going to be our last episode for this season because breaks, they're necessary for wellness, and we need and deserve a summer break, y'all. As for when we're going to be back, we are actually going to be officially coming back in the end of July, but maybe you might have some surprises along the way. You're going to have to wait and find out. And on this episode, we're closing out this season just in time for Pride. I'm excited because I'm a summer baby. Gemini season, whoop whoop. We're going to close this season off with the whole team. Happy Pride! Drop that beat.
Happy Pride! Let's go!
First to the stage, we have our producer, Leah Jackson.
Why am I first?
You're the producer.
I
don't know. I just was going by age.
Oh,
I was letting age choose.
Youngest.
My youngest
I
first.
see.
I respect my elders.
I think youngest first. Are you the eldest?
Okay. All right.
It's an honor.
It is an honor.
I should go
I
first.
feel privileged and honored to be first. I am Leah Jackson, producer of Quest, She, Her. I am a Cancer, also a summer baby. Hello.
Boop, boop, bestie.
And I love drinking matcha with oat milk in the morning.
My mouth watered.
Yeah.
Next to the stage, we have Stevie Qua.
I'm Stevie. I'm a Capricorn. All pronouns accepted.
Hi, I'm Rafaela Lanistoy, associate producer, she, her. I'm an Aries, and one of my favorite pastimes is sniffing my cat when I'm stressed out.
Wow.
She's totally not talking about me.
You get in those paws.
Well, I can. Well, no, because that's a little dangerous. That's like the no-go zone. I just
Word,
go right
word,
in the
word,
belly,
word, word, word,
and I
word,
just
word,
like
word,
rub
word,
all
word.
up in there, like
That's
dandruff,
scary.
whatever, hair I don't care. It just,
Right.
smells so
I have a dog.
good.
I forget. Cats have like
But it's
litter boxes.
You can, yeah, that's that part too, also. But you know what it's like. It
Claws.
smells so good.
I agree.
yeah,
I also
and
smell
the
my dog a
claws,
lot.
Yeah.
And
Didn't even-
when,
yeah.
when she smells like nacho cheese, it's the best after like a couple of weeks. So she's like dirty. That girl is
Yeah.
dirty, and she starts smelling like nacho cheese. I'm just like all up in
Yeah.
her. In her belly, let's
That's
go.
real love.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they're
So.
ultra stinky and you're like, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's the
You're not
moment.
alone.
Super excited to have everybody on. And this season, this is our third season now, and we just found out that we literally make up all the elements with all of our sun signs. Me being the Gemini, the air, and Capricorn the earth, Cancer the water, Aries the fire, like earth, wind, and fire.
Mm-hmm.
Plus
That's
water.
us. That's us.
Fully alchemized.
Candy.
It's crazy that it actually one of our guests called that out, and we didn't even realize
Yeah.
it until
Yeah.
Alexis Benefield actually said it, and we were blown away. We're like 3 seasons deep,
yeah.
and we didn't realize the whole team is the full spectrum, which is pretty
Yes. Thank you, Alexis.
Yeah.
cool. Thank you,
Thank
Alexis.
Shout out.
It's Pride season, y'all. So we're going to have a special episode with the whole team sharing our different tips and practices of just being able to keep ourselves grounded, like having a foundation of self during Pride, because Pride can be pretty overwhelming sometimes. And we got to be able to chill out, but still enjoy it and be connected and balanced with yourself. But before we do that, we're going to share our coming out stories because we've realized we have never shared this with y'all.
Some of us remember our coming out stories and some of us don't. So we'll see what happens.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. I think we're all like, as we're thinking about this episode, we're like, wow, what is my coming out story? I don't remember. Let's rethink that. It's been a minute. And do we still call them coming out stories? We do, right? That's still,
I don't know. These kids be changing shit all the time for us.
yeah.
Yes.
That's why I asked, because I want to definitely make sure we're using the right language. But there's still National Coming Out Day, so I think it's still the right term to use.
So who wants to go first?
I'm going to volunteer, not me, and being the oldest. I'm going to pick the youngest. And
Not
the
me.
newbie queer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We'll go the opposite direction.
Oh,
of the
exactly.
age.
Thank you.
We should go by seniority of coming out.
Wow.
Oh.
What year
I
did
don't
you
know
come
if I
out?
should be offended or
Senior
not,
gay.
but I
Being queerity.
We're just getting the freshest energy possible here.
oh
Yeah.
yeah
Fresh queer
yes.
energy.
Okay, I will be the fresh linen to this bed. Yeah, so I guess I am the youngest queer baby out of the four of us for sure. Technically yes, technically no, but I will tell a little bit of the backstory. I have officially been out to myself and to close friends since I was probably in like middle school, but I don't think anyone took it seriously because I didn't really act on it. I was more attracted to celebrity women and older women when I was younger. I wasn't attracted to girls my age, so I wasn't out like having crushes with girls in my school. And I also think, which I've tried to wrap my head around, but I think it's a patriarchal vibe thing of like when a girl says she's attracted to other girls, guys just assume that she's doing it for attention from other guys. And so that's kind of the energy I got a lot growing up. So I wasn't very like vocal about it because I also don't really like attention a lot. But officially as an adult, the most impactful one was when I came out to my queer family. So I have a gay uncle and 2 lesbian aunts. And I had been dating V probably like 2 years at that point, but we hadn't seen them or been in contact with them since me and V started dating. And my aunt invited me over for dinner. And I was like, okay, do you mind if I bring a +1? And I didn't say who it was. And then we went over to my uncle's. V was super nervous, obviously, and bought like, wasn't it like $120 bottle of tequila or something? Like some ridiculously overpriced bottle of tequila. And no one in my family drinks tequila, by the way. But
Such a dad
didn't
move, by the
know.
way.
yeah, like, but I get it. Like
So
not
Mexican.
not wanting to come empty-handed. And we show up and like me and V walk up to the door and open the door, and you could just see all of their eyes light up because they had no idea who was coming. And then it's V, who's obviously on the queer spectrum. So, and just to see like how happy and proud they were in that moment was just really sweet. And, you know, we talked about that night later. And, you know, they said the same thing of like they were just in such shock, but just really excited and had that moment in their head like, I knew it. And we've gotten really close to that side of the family since then. And I think there's just a certain level of like understanding that goes unspoken now. And it's been nice to feel reconnected to that side of the family in a new way.
Now tell us when you were a child.
Well, okay, the only thing that I can remember, which probably happens a lot, but I had a best friend growing up who's a girl. And I also had posters of like women all over my room. So I think it might have been more obvious than I think, unless my mom was like completely oblivious, but I doubt it. But I do remember like as a kid and you're young and you're like, oh, I'm going to go shower with my best friend. And it was like completely innocent, at least for me. But my mom was like really weird about it and like wouldn't let us do it and wouldn't let us leave the door open. And I could not for the life of me understand why until I got older and I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. But I was just like, it might as well save the water. So
Word. Had she let you, we might not be in this water crisis right now, you know?
Exactly.
You were thinking climate change real early.
Yes.
Right.
I was an advocate, okay?
Growing up in Berkeley.
Yeah.
Yes.
Born for this.
My mom
Berkeley
was
brain.
big about water. So
What a forward thinker you were.
yeah, I was a very responsible child, obviously.
So who wants to share theirs next?
Next, B.
I want to say like I feel like I came out twice. And I feel like I came out twice because in like the 7th grade, I was very confused and I was like, like it was so innocent to the point of like when a boy touches my leg, I'm just kind of like picking his hand off of my leg. And then when a girl touches my leg, I get all tingly. And so I didn't understand it and I was never exposed to gay, so I didn't know what gay was or that it even existed. So I was confused about the sensations going on in my body when I was basically groomed my whole life of teaching me how to iron. You're going to have to do this for your husband one day, or
Oh, God.
basically I was like confused about all of these emotions inside. So I talked to them and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. And they're like, yes, this is very normal. Like humans, we are able to realize that someone's attractive and that's normal. But if you're going to act on it with another woman, then it's a sin because I was raised religious. So it was like we had this conversation once, and then in my mind, I was like, okay, so it's normal, it's fine. I just don't act on it. Otherwise, I'm going to burn in hell. Got it. But fast forward to high school, that shit didn't go away. And I definitely wanted to act on it. And I began to act on it. And that's when shit hit the fan. And I got caught ditching school with my girlfriend to have sex.
Sing. Naughty, naughty.
Yeah. I don't know if my parents know that part of it, but I'm sure they knew because I had a hickeys. But
Or bruises from your sins.
yeah. Literally. What ended up happening, she got sent to a different school, and me and my folks, like, we just didn't talk about it, and I was in trouble forever and could never stay anywhere overnight or any that kind of situation. We just really didn't talk about it, and I think that I left to college and came back, and I cut all my hair off, and it was like coming out all over again. And, you know, I got the whole speech. I have 2 daughters, not a daughter and a son. And the whole thing, I was like, Dad, my clothes and my hair is just changing. Not my anatomy, but regardless, like, it was like coming out all over again. It was hard, honestly. It was really hard. I think that I was really excited to share something of them because finally I was happy and I was excited to share something with my family. And I was moving out of anger because I lived my whole life in anger and sadness, and I was finally like escaping that and wanting to share that with them, and they didn't like it. They just kind of were just like, if you're gonna bring that shit into the house, you can find somewhere else to live. And that also like began my homelessness. But I was happy, and the community is just so amazing, and the love and the support and that unconditional, like, it's irreplaceable. You know, I just continued to reach my happiness, and now they've jumped on board and just are really happy to see me happy.
That's wonderful. It's your truth.
Thanks.
It's beautiful. And I'm sorry you had to go through that also. Very hard.
For real. Hard and beautiful.
And probably very common, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thankful for it though, because I feel like I wouldn't be who I am today. My heart wouldn't be as giving as it was. I think maybe I would be different. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really say, but I feel like when something's taken away and I want it so bad, like that's what makes it easier for me to share it with folks, because I don't want them to feel the way I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's huge.
Look at the amazing person that you are now because of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're loved.
Thanks.
Amazing.
Okay. Who's next?
Not it.
Eldest goes last.
That is true.
It's gay birth, right?
You actually came out before me, which is like shocking.
See, isn't it? It's the queer birth, right? Queer birthday? No, okay, fine.
No.
Oh,
Rip the
fine.
Band-Aid off.
I mean, when I was thinking about this, which coming out would it be? Would it be with my family or would it be like to a friend?
Both.
Whichever.
Both?
Whatever you want to share.
Because some people have both, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like they have multiple.
Well, okay.
What's the most gay story?
The gayest one was I remember seeing my first girlfriend walk down the top of this hill. There was like the top of a hill. I was like at tennis practice and she was walking down this ramp and I saw her and I was like, damn, she's fine. And I turned to my friend and I say that. And my friend goes, oh yeah, she's definitely fine. And I look at her and I'm like I noticed the way that we said that was different.
Was it like the queer nod in the club when like you look at somebody and they nod and then you're like, you nod and you're like, you just know. Yeah.
See, I told you it's
Well,
a thing.
It's a nod.
The queer nod when you're
Yeah.
out in public.
No, she had
Okay.
like a hetero, like she's fine. And I had a like, she's
Oh.
fine. Like I want to go.
Yeah.
Cute.
And then right after that, I remember telling her, I think I might be gay. Like, because she's just the most beautiful, like, woman I've ever seen. But I do remember as a kid also seeing someone and having a crush on them too. But I don't think like it really connected that could be possible. And then let's see, when I came out to my mother, now that one was like all sorts of emotions for sure. Like I remember I was going through like a really hard time. I think I've always struggled with depression. And then my mom and I were in an argument and she said something about me always lying to her. And I told her that the only lie between us is basically that I do have a girlfriend. And she was like, I know that. And I guess there's no lies between us. And I remember hugging and going into my room. But also there was like another weird coming out moment because I always feel like bisexuals, pansexual people have to come out twice. So when I came out as a lesbian to my family, I think years later I brought home like a guy I was dating and my dad was just like so confused. Like so I mean there's definitely a few coming out moments for me that I think I've just been really fortunate that my family just embraced me at every single step. I guess like that's kind of why I do this too, is because I hope that people understand that they should be embraced and accepted at every single step, whether it's like, you have to come out again as bi, or you're like, actually, now I have to come out again because I'm actually straight. And then you got to come out again because you're queer.
Yeah.
I think that people should just meet you where you are.
I feel like we just shouldn't even have to come out about our sexuality.
Yeah.
Like, just be
Right.
sexual with who you want to be sexual with.
Yeah,
Right.
be honest
Yeah.
about it,
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the societal goal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Leah, by the way. I had a very similar experience, Stevie. When I came out to my mom, the first reaction that I actually got was anger, because she was very mad and upset with me that I didn't tell my dad at the same time. So she felt all this pressure to basically like keep a secret, like a family secret, you know? And I was like so mad and upset, because I was like, this is my coming out moment. This is supposed to be like a good thing. And then you're mad at me for like keeping
Why do I
a
have to be
family
the one?
Yeah. And this was probably like 3 or 4 months of time between, like we were just talking about, right? You like actually as a queer person, you have to constantly come out throughout your life, right? And the unfairness of that. I told my friends first. Then I told my mom. She was the first one in my family because she was my best friend. And then it wasn't until like the holidays of that year that I actually came out to my dad. And that was the hardest coming out, because that was like legit. Like I thought he was actually going to disown me, like legitimately disown me. That was really hard. Whereas like my friends were like, when I came out to my friends, they all knew I was gay before knew I was gay. Like I'm that queer, like very like tomboyish my whole life. I was in love with my second grade substitute teacher.
Cute.
Always kind of had that feeling, but never knew it, never can identify it, because I didn't have any gay people in my life. And I'm like, and yeah, my like friends coming out story, like the first people I told was my golden birthday when I was 26. I came out much later in life. It was actually during Pride when I came out. It was New York Pride in 2002. And that was like just magical. It was such a magical experience of like coming out, finally being able to come out, but also coming out during New York Pride, of like, I'd never been to Pride before. And I'm coming out at Pride and like seeing a sea of queer people, lesbians, like in the village. And there's just like queer people, lesbians, till I could not see anymore. That was just like such an intense, crazy moment. Yeah, coming out during Pride, it was pretty cool. And then like that extreme of like joy, pure joy, and then coming out to your family of being very like, ugh, so sad, disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Heavy.
very common.
Scary. Yes.
So
I didn't even share to y'all about my coming out with my bio mother. It was completely different from coming out to my stepmom and my dad. I told my bio mom about me being gay, and you want to know what her fucking response was? She said, "Duh."
For real.
Oh my God.
love
I
that.
feel like bio
love
moms
that.
know, you know. My
Bio
mom's
right?
like, yeah, I feel like in that argument, that was basically when I came out to my mom, I feel like that was her way of telling me, duh. Yeah, I know.
My mom's first words were, I need a cigarette.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, you know,
Legendary.
she was like rehearsing to tell you like the birds and the bees, you know what I mean? And then it's like,
Right.
it's like, you know, I don't know if you knew this about me, but I have to rehearse my next day, you know? And so when someone asks me like a question that's like a curveball, like it throws my whole day off, you know? Stresses me out. Maybe that was your mom.
It did stress her out. Yeah, definitely.
It's like, again, now I got to do the birds and the birds.
Yeah.
Right. I
Now
was
I
just
gotta
planning for dinner
keep
and
a
now I
lie
gotta do the birds
going.
and the birds.
Right.
Wow.
All right.
Well, speaking of like your whole experience at Pride and just like seas and seas of queer people, I remember my first Pride and seeing so many gay people, because me too, I had never been around a lot of gay people. Like in high school, I was like one of the few gay people out on campus. To go to my first Pride, I think it was like Long Beach Pride or San Francisco Pride, one of the two. I don't remember, but all I do remember was just like, holy shit, why is this a sin? Like, this is amazing. Everyone's so happy. There's families, there's like, you know, all kinds of different types of people, ages, and different demographics, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everyone's just loving each other and being so
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah. Celebration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that visibility it was just so beautiful that I couldn't understand or wrap my mind around it, why it's so demonized,
Mm-hmm.
because it is so beautiful,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Definitely.
But now being on the other side of it, now being a bartender in it, and also now being sober, California sober in it, it's a little different. It can be a little overwhelming for me now too, just because like the partying, the energies, and now being sober and not being able to fucking rage with everyone else. I was wondering like how is that like for y'all? Like, do you ever feel overwhelmed by the crowds of the gay sea?
Yeah, I feel like it's a different experience when you are in a big city and having attended San Francisco Pride for so many years. The actual magnitude of that pride and just the beacon of San Francisco alone, and attending that for so many years as an artist and as a DJ is like a much different experience. Like you, V, as a bartender, we worked in nightlife together for almost a decade. And, there's always this kind of underlining pressure to go at 110%, because not only is there so many opportunities to work, but that's when you make your money. That is when you actually can make money as a queer person. And that societal pressure and that capitalistic pressure that at least in my experience felt for many, many years. And that was the overwhelming part for me, is as I got more into working in nightlife, there was more of a pressure of doing extracurricular activities, and alcohol, drugs are everywhere. And when I, became quote unquote also California sober, and I stopped drinking in 2016, it shifted what my experience was, because that wasn't my purpose. My purpose was really to experience and be really connected with the people that I was with, but not with going to drugs and alcohol. And I think one of the biggest ways for me that really helped was having other people that were also on that same journey along with me. And I think that was like a big lesson for me, and especially through my kind of quote unquote sober journey, has been having other community and having other people that were also on that same path, and their purpose was also my purpose. And it wasn't to stay up late and rage and get fucked up and wasted, because I think especially over the years, in this last, I think 5 to 7 years, especially in San Francisco, the intentionality of what our pride has been like a cyclical thing, where it's more focused on community, less on capitalism and these major corporations' involvement. It's really kind of retracted back to the essence of what, when it originated. It was a riot, it was a protest. And I think I was tapping more into that of, what do I want my pride experience to be? Do I want to kind of go through the motions of just having a great time and partying with my friends, but also not having a lot of awareness about really truly what pride is and what we're supposed to be celebrating? And that is community, and that is supporting, queer businesses and queer industry and nightlife and artists. And that's really where I think my journey has come to more now, is that investment back into the community.
Love that. And Stevie, and anything for you about like how are you able to keep your own wellness and your rageness in balance?
Are they in balance? Well, I mean, I think like one of the things that really kind of helps me in general with like rageness and wellness is I have like small daily routines that I can do pretty much anywhere. So if I'm staying at a friend's house, I know I can do it there. One of the things is morning tea, coffee, or hot chocolate. And it's like my day's to-do list. And then at the end of the night, I end it with like a reflection of the day and checking on my next day's list. And I also, like I said, I rehearse my day. I could keep things moving, help my anxiety for certain things. But also, like, I like to remove myself from a lot of stimulation, especially after, like, I go into, like, my rageness. So if I'm driving home, typically I won't listen to music, or I'll just get home, turn off all the lights, maybe put my blindfolds on, and then just theoretically stare at the ceiling. But since I have a blindfold on, I'm in the darkness. I'm eliminating all that extra stimulation, and I'm just trying to get back to myself to decompress. And then I just try not to listen. I try to listen to like more intentional music versus like a random playlist, because probably for Pride, I had already been listening to, I don't want to say like lower vibrational music, but not as intentional music. So there might be some messages seeping in.
Absolutely. I think that you hit that nail on the head about the whole low vibrational stuff, like the messages that comes in through the music. And I think that there are selected DJs that are kind of careful about what they share and what they put on. And I know that Leah is one of those people that she's kind of like, I want people to get pumped and juiced by what's being said and not like subconsciously drained.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely some music where the lyrics aren't necessarily high vibrational, but the beat is fire. So
Yeah.
it's
That's true.
balance, wellness and
Absolutely.
rageness balance, you know?
Exactly. Two things can exist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I wanted to talk about one specific aspect of Pride that has come up for me as an adult. But prior to that, thinking also about like things that have helped me stay grounded in myself during like high party times like Pride. And the ones for me that help the most is like really connecting to earth, whether that be like just going into like a field of grass and putting my feet in the grass for a little bit, or some of the most sacred experiences for me are my walks. I'll just walk in like the neighborhood in Berkeley here in California and just enjoy all the beautiful like landscapes and flowers and stuff. And that really helps me to feel back in my own energy in my own body, because I tend to like get sucked into other people's energy intensely, especially during like high party times when people are like drinking and drugs and all that stuff and everyone's like really excited about everything. It can get intense pretty quickly. So that's been something that helps me a lot. But I think the aspect of Pride that has been interesting for me as an adult coming out, quote unquote, coming out later, was this feeling of imposter syndrome that I didn't really like process, I think, until I started dating V. Because I would go to Pride. I mean, I've grown up in the Bay Area my whole life. I was going to Pride. Apparently, my uncle told me since I was a baby, he took me to Folsom like on his shoulders when I was like 1 or 2 years old.
That's so cute.
So the idea of Pride is not new. I've been going since I was young and I've always loved it, but I always felt like an outsider experiencing it and never felt like my Pride or me being a part of it. With dating V, like it was that moment for me of like, oh no, yeah, I wasn't lying. Like it's true. Like I am queer. It just hadn't manifested yet. I had an experience at last year's Some of Us festival here in California, which is a queer wellness festival, with a friend of mine named Olivia. And I had a conversation with her around, I don't even know how it started, but somehow we got into discussing that aspect of being queer and like having that feeling of imposter syndrome. Because I think for her, she also she has kids and had been dating men for a while before she came into like the community. And she just validified my experience and that it's okay to feel that way, but that's not the truth, and that I have every right to be in the community regardless of how I identify, you know. And it was that moment of like, especially because Olivia's a pillar here in the Bay Area, to have her say it to me, it was like, oh, okay. Cool. Like, I feel, yeah, like it's true. It stuck with me. And I think I've finally been able to release that aspect of it. Maybe for those listeners out there that may not be officially out, or maybe like questioning and don't quite know if they fit in, like you do. 100% you do. You have a home here. You have a family here. Just reach out to whoever you feel comfortable reaching out to, and you'll be surprised by how many people will accept you and love you. So just face your fears, y'all, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot on the podcast. Is like, queerness is not to be put in a box. We're put in a box from the day we were born. And I think that creates so much of that imposter syndrome and comparison and that game that we feel like we play a lot, not only in our queerness, but in other aspects of our lives too. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I was like talking about this recently, where we break out of a binary and then we are so used to that binary in so many forms that we are now trying to process things in a binary sense, in something that can't be explained like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I think that's also the reason why I didn't date women for so long, because I didn't know what my role was, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But like, I remember being stuck in that, like, wait, but what would I do? Like, am I the breadwinner? Am I like the one that stays at home? Like, all these things like didn't make sense in my brain. That literally that part I didn't know, because I'm an Aries, and so I don't have bottom tendencies all the time, but I didn't get how that would play into it. It was all like,
just kidding.
Just kidding. Only between the sheets.
Yeah. Like,
That's for
I'm
a
a
future
bottom.
episode called
Just
Between the
kidding.
Sheets. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm non-binary in all forms.
yeah,
You're just Stevie.
you just
Yeah,
Stevie.
Just Stevie. Yeah. That's why we love you.
Absolutely. Hearing all y'all's like different ways of how you take care of yourself during Pride, it's definitely helpful. I know when I was a big drinker, definitely coconut water, it was a savior. Holy moly, coconut water. I'm doing the like Catholic cross my body. Like, coconut water was my hero.
Yeah.
And working in a bar where like drinking is encouraged, that was necessary. Coconut water was necessary. But now being sober and working in a bar where actually, you know what? We are not allowed to drink during Pride, because it's the time where we need to be on point, because it is the busiest time of the year for us. And not only are we bartending, but we're also security. So we got to make sure that whoever's out there is safe, and whatever drugs are involved, we're all fully trained on like Narcan training and things like that, to making sure that everyone is safe. And I think that definitely now it's much easier to navigate that overwhelmingness, because now I have ways to come back to me, and that's a lot of alone time, or I'll get some sage or Palo Santo and give myself a little cleanse, and then in my shower I'm like, let me wash today off so I'm refreshed tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little different things, but coconut water is one of them. Even now with me being sober, it just that hydration, it's just it's key.
Yeah.
Hydration is certainly important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's get real. I do tend to still
Get
want
me,
to go
oh,
out
yeah.
and party sometimes. But
Yes.
now it's just different because I feel like to protect my energy, what I do now is it's like a share concert. It's like a one night only. This is
Yeah.
all you're gonna fucking get. And
Yeah.
I'll have a great time in that one day. Whereas I felt like so much pressure to, as I say, it's like, it's not a race, it's a marathon, right? Like I used to get like shit faced wasted on a Tuesday night, and then like I still have until Sunday, like every single night, like that's kind of how that like experience has like evolved. Now, this year's San Francisco Pride is going to be Sunday night, maybe Sunday night. I'm going to end DJing at Bo in the Castro. Hey, like promo for the Big Top Sundays.
Hey.
But yeah, I feel like that has also really helped me of like, hey, like I really want to protect my energy and like not deplete myself so badly by even Friday, Saturday, Sunday is all right, y'all. Tell my friends, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be there for one day. I feel really good about that now, whereas before I felt like just an insane amount of FOMO because I just wanted to be at every party. I want to see all my friends. I want to just be seen, right? And meet people. And like that's such a joy too. But now I feel really good about not taking like a whole week to actually like recover. And that feels really good. So
FOMO is draining.
yeah. FOMO is draining.
It's so
Right.
draining.
Yeah.
Leah, I think I just saw my pride life pass before my eyes because I did realize that like the amount of parties that I have gone throughout Pride have gotten less each year. Like I think when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to make all the parties. And I would somehow make all 20 parties and still go to like, Civic Center. Right. And I'm like, how is this possible? Now at 37, I'm all like, I think I maybe have like 2 or 3 parties, intentional
literally.
parties
Exactly.
that I want to go to, not too chaotic, maybe like maximum capacity of like 100 or 200. But before I was like, I'm going to the 1,000 capacity. I'm going to go to the like Civic Center. And I'm like, how did I do that? How did we do that?
We don't know.
I don't want to be around people anymore.
Literally.
Not in a bad
Time out.
way,
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
You have a limit.
Yeah, there's a limit.
Yeah.
There's a limit. So yeah, I think it's really important to also protect your energy too and not be so chaotic because you have to consider the decompression afterwards and how to acclimate back into
I think it is like, kind of being very like, what do I want my pride experience to be? Do I want it to be very much depleting? And it can be, and it's very easy to, but I think there are ways and like the ways that we have all found that have really helped because I feel like it really goes back to intentionality and just purpose. Why we're doing what we're doing, why we're doing the thing that we're doing to our bodies, to our minds. It's mind, body, spirit, right? Like it's all like that connection. So I think that's really been a huge shift and very helpful. And now I like really look forward to it because I feel like when you live in a state of just pure exhaustion and like have that experience, I wasn't excited about Pride. I was exhausted from Pride, So it's nice to kind of pivot and turn a little bit of a corner around and say, wow, I'm really looking forward to just like you said, Stevie, like that 1 or 2 parties that I'm going to be able to go to and have a great time and not feel bad about missing out on all the other stuff.
I wanted to mention one thing because I know that we have some straight folks who listen to the pod and, some wonderful allies. And because we live in San Francisco and it ends up having a lot of tourists, there are a lot of straight folks who come and are a little bit disrespectful into the vibe, into the party, because they just see it as this big party and want to rage and show up with all this rainbow on, and they're just acting up. just acting up. Just as our allies, just come with respect. Like, everybody I know is raging or everything, but have a limit to where you can still be respectful.
That's real. Yeah. Thank you for that.
City. You're welcome. You're welcome. Working in the Castro, you know, you get a lot of that. Y'all have made it to the end, and I wanted to thank the team for coming on here and sharing all their stories, sharing all their knowledge, their practices, their tips, their vulnerabilities. This episode has been so beautiful, and I really appreciate y'all staying to the end. And I hope that this Pride season, you're able to sit in the beauty of it, stay grounded in yourself, and, you know, maybe some of these practices and tips might help you succeed in that. I hope that you have a safe, fun Pride. And just wanted to leave this reminder with y'all. This is our last episode of season 3. It's not forever. We'll be back. And maybe we'll have some surprises along the way. You'll have to wait and see. Or hear. Thanks for listening, y'all. Happy Pride and happy summer. Bye. Bye. We have so much more to explore and share with you on the pod. Tap that follow or subscribe button to get every episode as soon as it's released. And give us a 5-star rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And join our wellness community on Instagram at Quest Wellness Pod. This podcast was produced by Puka Puka Creative. Executive producer, Stevie Kwa. Producer, editor, and sound designer, Leah Jackson. Associate producer, Rafaela Landestoy. Original music produced by Basque. His music is amazing. And we can't forget the emotional support by our fur babies, Frankie, Nugget, and Pukalani.